Shake, rattle, and troll.
It's time for the award-winning Shake, Rattle, and Troll.
Here's to what you buy. Grab your favorite ponies. Me and the boys gonna shake.
A show for the serious fishermen as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros.
We got the power, we got the speed. We're running wide open on a midsummer breeze. Fresh water, salt water, watch out, boys. Bass Daddy Don's gonna make some noise. It's me and the boys gonna shake, rattle, and
Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman, the man that fears no fish, Bass Daddy and Tournament Pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell.
And Special K, good morning.
Indeed you are. Welcome to Shake, Rattle, and Troll. Happy Mother's Day. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We've got a pretty fun-filled show today. We've got some special guests. We'll get right to that and then tell you what's going to happen. Special guest in Sergeant Charles Linville. Welcome.
Thank you.
You have quite a bio. We'll get into that. And then we have a friend of mine in, William Hinman. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
Is that your super large Dodge out there?
It is, and it's a dually.
Wow.
Diesel.
And you forgot one other guest.
Uh-oh. Well, I'll let you do the honors.
No, I'll let Charlie do the honors.
Come on, Sergeant.
We're all pointing at my service dog, so he's just hanging out on the floor. Devin's here with us as well.
Devin,
yeah.
Devin the dog.
Yep.
Devin's a very cool dog.
You gotta love it. Well, the sergeant is here as a request of Eddie Corona from Outdoor Experience for All. Why don't you tell us about yourself, if you would?
So I'm from Boise, Idaho. I joined the Marine Corps in 2006.
That's a good thing. Good thing.
Yeah, Boise, downtown Boise.
Joined the Marine Corps in 2006. I was in the infantry, served in Iraq, and switched to bomb disposal and went to Afghanistan. In January 2011, I stepped on an IED.
Bomb disposal. Wait a minute, let's back up.
Yeah.
Was that a volunteer situation?
You never volunteer, right?
Oh, well, I mean, all the military these days is volunteer. And then within that, yeah, you have to volunteer to go do bomb disposal. But somebody has to do the job.
That's for guys that I know a couple of guys in EOD, and none of the three of them have a nervous system that work correctly.
I mean, that's a matter of opinion.
No, it's mine.
Stepped on an IED in January 2011. Spent a couple years under recovery, and then eventually got my prosthetic leg and was able to battle back and accepted a mission to climb Mount Everest.
Really?
Yeah.
Another volunteer situation.
Yeah, definitely volunteer on that one. Everybody kind of rolled their eyes at me and said, "You're nuts," but I mean, we already knew that. So
I don't think I'd do that if they had ATV trails.
I know you wouldn't do it even if they had ATV. You wouldn't even do it from a helicopter jump.
Now, wait a minute. Well, outstanding. Thank you for your service and certainly your sacrifice. It looks like you're doing pretty well. We've got some other guys in our group in a similar situation, and I'll tell you what, you guys are just absolutely difficult to keep up with.
Yeah, how long did you have to train for that?
Oh, I mean, Everest, I accepted it in like late 2013, and I attempted to climb the first time in spring of 2014, but definitely months of training. I mean, I spent every day in the gym. I spent every month I was in a different country climbing a different high altitude mountain, just getting ready for Everest. And then unfortunately I didn't have the opportunity to actually climb Everest until 2016. So a couple more years of actual training and staying in the gym. But during the training cycle, I'd spend 8 hours a day solely focused on getting my body ready for Everest. I mean, the one thing I could control when I showed up to the mountain was how physically prepared I was, taking everything else out of the situation. If I showed up just as an absolute monster to climb the mountain, I knew that I'd be successful if that's what I put in, just a total obsession into my physical preparedness.
Wow. Okay, and I can't climb up. I can't climb the stairs now.
No kidding. How about you, William? A little background on yourself.
Came out here in '89. One of the best things I ever did, coming to Phoenix, Arizona.
From where?
Nebraska.
Okay.
A Cornhusker.
Cornhusker.
Yeah.
My family owns a small ranch out in the southwest Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
We're about 20 miles from the Kansas border. Raise cattle and raise food for the people around the world.
Nice.
They're thinking about putting wolves into Nebraska, I heard.
Yeah, good.
Seriously, yeah.
Woo!
It's
Okay.
their historic range.
Yes, it actually is an historic range.
Yeah.
Because wolves, what I learned this morning is come from Russia, but they also have come down from Canada back in, was it 1907, I believe, when they eradicated the wolves.
So you're going to blame
United
this
States.
on the Russians?
Absolutely not.
You're going to blame it
Why?
on the Canucks.
Why? The Dibs are blaming everything else that's happened in the last 100 years on
Well,
Russia.
you know, it's just like everything else that our government tries to do. They think they have a great idea. They think they know what they're doing. They get started in a program, and they can't run a school system. Our educational system is in a crapper.
I love this guy.
That's one way of putting it.
You look at our law enforcement; it's in shambles. You look at our military; our government doesn't take care of our children, doesn't take care of our seniors, and they sure don't take care of our military. And
Roger that.
They think they can, solve problems, and all they do is make the problems worse.
Thank you for that. On the wolf topic, we're going to have our friend Tom Remington, author of the book Wolf, What's to Understand. We have shared a copy of that with the sergeant. J.K. has an autographed copy. Aren't you special?
I am special.
And William has a copy. We'll go down through that at the top of the hour. Unfortunately, roll call for this week. We have one soldier killed in action in theater. We have 2 law enforcement officers that are down. We'll be talking to James Guggenauer, the master rod builder from downtown Payson, where the weather's probably pretty nice today. And breaking news out of San Diego is actually pretty good. The yellowtail are showing up, and the Old Glory was out on a day-and-a-half trip. JK, you need to pay attention. They had 20 guys out, and they had 100 yellowtail.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good day.
Can you imagine that for fresh sushi?
I would say
That'd be
that was
nothing
a good day. I'm not sure. We'll try to get a hold of Captain Bill on the Malahini boat. I don't see that they were out. Something's going on, maybe water, angry ocean, or something going on with those guys. But anyway, that's pretty much setting the table. We've got some news. You have a joint news release on OHV. Can you share that with us?
As always, the Northern Arizona Federal Land Managers are inviting the public for a community conversation event. In regards to Coconino, the Kaibab, the Flagstaff Area National Monuments, the Grand Canyon National Park Superintendent, and the BLM District Managers are all going to be there. And they're trying to figure out, as they have been for the last 10 years, on how to deal with OHVs in the national forests. And I will tell you this, there are a lot of road closures, and I know a lot of my friends who have quads and who love them dearly are screaming bloody murder about public lands, but I will also comment this way. And that is that if you take an overview look at just, say, the Apache Sitgreaves, the Abaris National Forest, if you take a look at maps from 1994, and then you take a look at maps from 2010, it's like an explosion of roads. And those are man-made, created for their enjoyment. You cannot go more than 1.5 miles in any place in the Abaris without running into a quad trail.
Nice.
That doesn't bode well for wildlife. Now, if you go up onto the White Mountain Apache Reservation, you can go a long way on many places without running into a quad trail, and you don't see a lot of bodies, and wildlife thrives. Can't imagine what the delineating factor between wildlife surviving and doing well versus not doing well.
All right, so this is an open hearing for the public.
Yes, it is. It's up in Flag.
Okay, what's the date and what's the time?
Let's see. For immediate release, they're going to be meeting on Thursday, the May 25th, which is shortly, at the Brainiger Hall at the Museum Northern Arizona from 6 to 8 p.m. Seating is limited to 60 to 70 people. So it's a free community event, but you have to RSVP by calling in or going into www.musnaz.org, and they'll talk about it.
Okay, we'll get that back out again. Little update on what your Border Patrol is doing in southern Arizona. JK, while we were down there last Friday, the agent seized almost 13 pounds of heroin in Tucson, arrested 4, put them away. Last Thursday was a busy day. They encountered a pickup truck smuggling 10 aliens. They've all been detained and will be prosecuted. And last Thursday, also, the Douglas Station Border Patrol agent seized more than $1 million worth of marijuana in 2 different incidences. So they had one valued 1,800 pounds, about 900 grand, and another one 240 pounds, valued at roughly 120,000. So, hats off to the BP guys doing their job keeping the southern stretches of Arizona safe. And then one other tidbit coming out of the department, our beloved Director Voiles, Larry D. Voiles, after, I believe, 43 years, is that?
43 years
43
in the department,
years.
9 years as the director.
Is calling it quits. Rumor has it he's going to Walmart as a greeter.
Oh.
Yep.
It's
All
a
right.
big-
That said, we're going to thank some of our sponsors. When we come back, we'll get this kicked off with the Sergeant and William. I am Don McDowell.
Special K.
Charlie.
And William.
There indeed you are, sir. Nice Dodge.
Thanks.
That thing's as big as this Bluebird school bus.
And it loves pulling a fifth wheel.
Nice. All right. Hey, we'll be right back.
Gonna rock the boat. Gonna slam a jam with a brand new note. Banging my head like a billy.
Sit down, JK. Don't rock the boat.
Yeah.
I got a call from our friend Mike Day. Mike is known as one of the bass masters down in Mexico. And I'm sorry to say, Mike has purchased a Tupperware boat.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
You will find Mr. Day floating around in a Tupperware vessel somewhere down around Rocky Point this weekend.
Oh, I'm proud of that, man. I'm an advocate for more kayaks. Just so you know.
Prius, kayak, do
Yeah.
the math,
I know.
Starbucks,
Yeah,
Birkenstocks.
right.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm wearing them.
don't even go there. All right, back to you, Sergeant. If you don't mind me asking, where in Afghanistan did you have your incident?
I was in second Afghanistan. So in 2010, 2012, the British had pulled out and the Marine Corps pushed in. And I was serving 3-5, which was my old infantry battalion. So it was just kind of serendipitous that I, as a bomb disposal technician, got to go take care of the IEDs for the guys I served with in Iraq. So it was just a crazy time. I mean, it was pretty much like walking around a minefield everywhere you went.
Sure.
And just thousands of IEDs, and that's pretty much all we did all day.
We have a good friend, Brian Wakeling's son was in a similar incident as you were. And
He was fortunate, though, that it was kind of like it was a poorly assembled IED, and he stepped on it, and he was fortunate in that he only lost a portion of his foot. You know, it was a screw up on the part of whoever planted the IED.
Yeah, low orders are nice. I mean, low order being that not all the explosives inside the jug detonated. High order detonation, obviously, everything's consumed, and the blast is much bigger.
well, Seth, the interesting part about Seth is he's recovered fairly well. He's had a couple of other amputations up the leg, and he decided to embark upon motorcycle off-road racing. He's done pretty well after they figured out how to duct tape his leg on so that it wouldn't hit. His leg kept falling off.
Yeah.
So they had to duct tape it to the foot peg, and I mean, it's just been. It's not funny, but you can't help but laugh. I mean, this kid is just like
You guys, your attitude is all that matters.
It's all about adaptation, right? Like, I would have taken my motorcycle boot. You know how, like, cycling has, like, clip-in? And I would have, like, somehow fashioned a cycle clip-in to the bottom of the peg for the motorcycle, and then I could clip my boot in, and if I ever had to, like, come off, they rotate and come off, so it would have been perfect. Just welded something on real quick. I mean, that's what I would have done, but
they figured it out. 100-mile-an-hour duct tape.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fix anything, right?
Yeah.
Now, you were in a vehicle when yours went off?
I stepped on it again, low order detonation. I've actually been fortunate enough to be blown up 8 times. 7 times in a vehicle, so luckily, steel and good welding kept me safe. But finally, I was responding to a call where 2 Marines had unfortunately lost both their legs above the knee, and I was sweeping the scene. And again, like I said, like walking around on a minefield, I stepped on another ID, low order detonation. I'm incredibly lucky. I should be a triple amputee, but I'm not. So, I mean, that's just a win all around.
Wow.
That's a positive attitude when you look at a low
Yeah.
order.
I mean, you see it every day. And I remember the explosion. You know, definitely disoriented, trying to wipe stuff out of my eyes. I realized that my right hand got messed up. I have some amputated fingers, and I started to wipe the debris out of my face. And I looked down, knowing what the situation could be. I looked down, my limbs were still attached, and I just looked up the heavens. I was like, yep, thank you. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. Crazy. How we talked a little bit about this during the break. How was your treatment from VA overall?
The VA has been difficult, pulling teeth to get the proper treatment. It's just, you shouldn't have to fight, a battle every time that you have an injury or, I need an appointment. That's just been the disheartening point of the whole thing is that, every time I call, that you have to justify why I need to go in there. And then when they tell me that, oh, it's going to be 4 or 5 month wait, you just throw your hands up and say, okay, whatever. And then, like I was saying, you wait that 5 months and the appointment comes up and they say, we have to reschedule, so it's going to be another couple months. And you're just like, well, I'm not coming anymore. Like, fine, I'm done with you. Like, I'll be back when I actually need something.
We'll take you down to Home Depot. Yeah, lots of extra parts down there. Wow, amazing story. How did you get hooked up with our buddy Eddie Corona?
Eddie and I met through Wounded Warrior Outdoors, so Outdoor Experiences for All, which Eddie started. Hooked up with Wounded Warrior Outdoors, and I was actually fortunate enough, my EOD teammate and myself, we both got hurt a couple weeks apart, and so...
Oh, that's fortunate.
Well, fortunate to hook up with Wounded Warrior Outdoors, yeah, right? Definitely not the right wording there, I suppose. But we ended up being in the same hospital together, and then... going through recovery, you just need to get a reprieve from the hospital, right? I mean, it's like all the treatment, the day in and day out. And so my partner and I, Brian, we went out with Wounded Warrior Outdoors, and we went on a bear hunt in British Columbia. And it was the first hunt that Brian had ever been on in his life. I grew up in Idaho.
Hunt?
Yeah,
Really?
he went bear hunt in British Columbia.
They're fairly sizable in BC.
Yeah, it was good. And I remember Brian's first shot of the bear. We see it. And he's like, oh, you take it. It's like, no, Brian, this is your first hunt. This is all you. And so the bear was about 350 yards away. And Brian only has 2 fingers on his left hand, and he's missing his right hand. And so the gun was awkward, and the bear ducked on the other side of crested the hill and then came back over, and Brian got confused. And so he shot it in the butt. And so to this day, I give him a hard time. I'm like, Brian,
Nice.
you're supposed to. We talked about where you're supposed to shoot this, Brian. He's like, oh, he just put his hands up. Oh, well, it is what it is. But through Wounded Warrior Outdoors, Eddie found me with Outdoor Experience for All, and I was able to do Arizona strip hunt, which was amazing.
Whoa. You did the strip? Which one? 13A or B?
A. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
3,500 square miles of nothing but land.
and
a lot of nice
amazing animals.
Yeah. What'd your score?
I got 182. It was a good size
tiny
deer.
one.
Yeah, tiny. Yeah, he had 40 inches in mass on his antlers. It was absolutely amazing. I loved it every second.
We'll have a little conversation during the break.
Oh, yeah. How about you, William? Do you get any hunting or fishing time in?
My wife, she is a avid bow hunter on turkeys.
Really?
And my brother, Donnie, loves hunting elk and deer.
That's not me.
I don't know what's going on. I have voices in my head all the time. It's nothing new.
They're speaking to you in tongues, man.
Well, the bad part about it is, sometimes they have some pretty good ideas, but it gets me in a lot of hot water.
Maybe this is the Vatican talking to you.
That's not
We're not going to go there.
Sharp right turn.
No, I put my time in last night. Well, maybe you can get your wife with JK. JK's embarked upon a turkey hunting escapade, let's say. How did you find it yesterday? Was it real windy again?
It's not at first light. It isn't, and then it gets worse. And that's the problem. So it's when there's high winds and you're trying to call turkeys in, and they're not wanting.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's like most of them have been hooked up already. They've got their hens, and they're shepherding them. And when you're trying to convince them to stroll over this hillside, and it's thick where we're at. I mean, I hear them. I just can't get into them. It's like they won't cross that 250-yard barrier, and it's dry as a popcorn fart up there right now. I mean, you crash and you take a step and you're crinkling on everything. And they can hear you coming a long ways. So
did you hunt back in Nebraska? There's some wonderful opportunities back there with the deer and the pheasants and all the other stuff.
Well, around our farm is actually southeast of McCook, Nebraska, which is out west of the state, and it's some of the best pheasant hunting on the planet. People fly in from all over the world just to hunt pheasants. It's good for duck. There is some deer, but it is just absolutely awesome for a pheasant.
Nice.
It won't be if they put wolves out there.
Yeah. How do you feel about the wolves?
Well,
this is the gentleman who thought the video on how wolves have recreated the Yellowstone River system and trophic design where they have had this magnificent impact in Yellowstone and returning that land to what it should be, right?
Well, I wouldn't say they've done all that, but
they made the trees taller, the sky bluer.
No, what
the
they
grass
did was
greener.
they started pulling the herds of elk and deer back into alignment. The neat part that I have found with wolves and talking to people who deal with deer and elk is that people are using the numbers from elk were the highest in 1995 they've been in since recorded time.
Yeah.
And then
now they're the lowest.
Right.
Yeah, thanks for the
Whatever
wolves.
goes up goes down.
All righty. There's a fist fight waiting to happen right there. Hey, we're going to flip into a break when we come back. San Diego.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Bungalow Bill, what did you kill? Bungalow Bill, hey, Bungalow Bill.
That can only mean one thing. The left coast is alive and well. What's
Captain
happening?
Laidback.
Yeah, what's happening, man?
What's shaking, guys? How we doing today?
Well, we're excited to talk to you. The yellowtail count off of the Old Glory was pretty stellar. What's up with the Malahini boat?
We had limited yellowtail for 2 days so far this week. We got set the dock on Monday. No people. Set the dock on Tuesday. No people. Wednesday, set the dock weather and no people. Yes, Thursday we got off the dock with, I think,
Nice.
12. We had 60 yellowtail. They're 5 to 8 pound fish.
Ooh, firecrackers.
Nothing. No, yeah, exactly. Kelp patty yellowtail fish is basically what it is. And it was pretty decent. Well, they were done at 11:30 for the 12 anglers, and then Friday we got off the dock.
Well, you had 60 for 12.
Yeah,
That's 9.5.
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. And we had 24 for Friday, and we had limits. We had, and 32 yesterday, and we had limits. They're out this morning. I'm not exactly sure with how many people. I forgot to take a check before you guys called me, but hey, they're out there today trying to do it again. Weather's kind of iffy. Supposed to get with it this afternoon or late this afternoon. Hopefully we're back to dock before that takes place, and life is good. Bluefin, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I got a question
Yeah,
for you.
okay.
Do you ever get to have fresh sushi on board?
We kind of frown on that on the Malahini because something happens. You eat a piece of fish off the boat that was just caught. It could be a liability issue for us.
How does it get much fresher than that?
But the cheeseburgers are absolutely the best. Danny and the galley. Sergeant, you'll love these.
Yeah.
These cheeseburgers are about this thick.
Yeah, they're
Sloppy, juicy, greasy. Ooh, the cheese is
Love it.
running down
If
your
you want
hand.
to eat that in a rolling boat, be my guest.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you have no idea how much that makes you feel better.
Yeah, all that grease. That'd
I'll
be
take
good.
your
Oh,
word
yeah.
on it, Captain Laidback.
But I mean, for the most part, guys, fishing's been fishing. You know what I mean? We had that spell of weather on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It wasn't really rough Monday, Tuesday. We just had no people. But Wednesday, kind of got with it. And that started on, I do believe, Sunday. We went to the islands. And last Sunday, we went to the islands. And weather started getting rough right around, I want to say 2:30, 3 o'clock. Captain Mike Zayak decided to make a beeline back to the dock.
Really?
It took him almost 3 hours.
Whoa.
That's how rough it was.
What were your swells?
All 8 to 10.
Whoa.
At about 5.5 to 7 seconds.
Yikes.
Wow.
That's a little on the bumpy. Tanner Bank right now, winds steady at 23.3 knots, gusting to 30. Wave height's about 10.5 feet with wave intervals about 10 seconds.
Yep, wants no part of that.
No, negative,
And
Ghost Rider.
how big's your boat?
You need a bigger boat.
It's 80 foot.
Yeah, it's 80 foot by 19 and a half.
I bet that's a
19 and a half
roller coaster
feet.
ride. Wow.
No, it's really nice. Actually, it's really nice riding boat. You're sitting in a trough, it gets a little bumpy, but I mean, other than that, it's cool.
Yeah,
Right on.
CJ shaking his head going, not a chance.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's funny. But I mean, if you think about this for a minute. You have a swell that's 8 foot at 15 seconds. These are 15 seconds apart. So you're just going to go up and roll down. The shorter the distance between the swell was what makes it rough. So if you had
That's
8
true
foot at
story.
10 seconds, it's okay. 8 foot at 8 seconds, I'm not really so sure about that.
Calm water's better, baby.
Well, yeah, I wish that were in a perfect world that would be true.
Well,
But
it's all
you never-
at the end of the boat ride. It's all good. You get to
Yeah.
you get to go fishing. And JK,
We had
no
one guy
matter
get off
what
the
you
dock.
get, it will be a trip you won't forget for one reason or
We had-
another.
We had that one individual on Sunday that got off the boat and kissed the dock.
Nice.
That was kind of funny.
Oh, at least I know what to do when I get there. I'm not getting off the dock. That's the key.
Come on.
Dramamine, 24 hours before, 1 that morning. You'll be fine.
When you get off the dock and the dock's still moving.
That's what mine happens in my head, yeah.
That happens. Believe
Oh,
it or
yeah.
not. I've been on a boat for like 5 or 6 days, and get off the boat and be driving home. My head's going woo.
Still moving.
I actually got pulled over one time. Cop thought I was drunk.
You think?
Wow, that's a stunner.
I just got off the fishing boat. He goes, yeah, right. Fertilizer
I've been
test.
on the ocean for 5 days. Heard it before.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do with a drunken sailor?
Yeah, Doc.
Guys,
Yes,
check it
sir.
out. We're online all this week. Coming up, we will be fishing offshore, looking for the bluefin tuna and chasing the yellowtails. It seems like there's a new batch of yellowtail that moved into the area, and it's kind of like a 5 or 6 mile spread of the stuff.
Wow.
And hopefully it sticks around. There are some larger grade yellowtails in this mix. We just haven't captured any because the little ones, the 5 to 8 pounders, want to eat everything, including the paint off the boat.
8 to 5 pounds of yellowtail.
That's fine. Those are just taco size.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
For 3/4 day fishing, that's the right size. You know, most of our clientele, they're tourists from, out of town, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong, which is awesome. And, okay, yeah. 5 to 8 pound yellowtail, 8 to 10 pound bonito. The bluefin tunas, I prefer to have them in the 19 to 25 pound range. Yellowfin, same thing. Much easier for, most of our anglers are first time. Makes sense. Then we get into them big boys. We'll hook 15 or 20 of them. We'll wind up getting one in.
Well, I hate to go back to this, but how much sushi do you get out of one of those?
Out of what?
Out of what? 8 to 10
Depends on the
pounds
size of the fish.
No, he said an 8 to 10 pound.
And you probably get
There's 4 tacos.
Yeah.
Why would I eat tacos?
when you can have
Oh,
sushi.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
No, it's not. Not what I do.
You can eat sushi out of it.
Yeah.
You get probably, I don't know, I'm going to say probably 2 to 3, maybe
Pounds.
4 pounds of fish
sushi.
out of that.
Well, I know bluefin and yellowtail, the best part's down on the belly.
Those would be belly tacos.
Oh, would you get out here, tacos? Why would you ruin
Taco
good?
belly.
Why would you ruin good sushi with breading it and deep frying it?
Oh, yeah, it's $16 a
This
pound.
guy sounds
Right.
like he's from Nebraska. Wait a minute.
Why would you deep fry it? Put that puppy on the barbecue, dude.
Yeah.
Or bake them.
Lightly seared is fine. That's as
Yeah.
close as I'm going to get. Otherwise, I want it raw.
You know,
I can dig on that. Well, my wife and I, true story, my wife and I went to this place called Go Japan here in San Diego.
That's where they had the strippers,
for,
right?
Joker.
It's Bill on a pole.
And we sat there, and I ordered spicy tuna rolls.
Oh, yeah.
I don't eat fish, dude. And I ordered these 2 tempura stuffs
Yeah.
that had, these seaweed wrapped around it and things like that.
That's what it's
Now,
called, yeah.
The 2 tempura stuffs, they were cool. They were good. The spicy tuna, not so much.
I just want to go back to you said I don't eat fish.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say to that. I don't eat fish.
But I'm a captain of a
I'm
boat.
a captain of the boat, but I don't eat
Yeah,
fish.
but I'll tell you what, he's brutal on those Danny burgers.
well, you know, Bill.
Yes.
Don just showed me a picture of your boat, man. That's a nice looking rig.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you very much.
It really
That boat
is.
was built it was built in 1941. The keel was laid in 41. It was commissioned in 45. It was a World War II PT boat 671.
Roger that.
It never saw service. It was then surplus to a family, I'm assuming, in Washington, who turned it into a yacht. And that was in 48. And it was moved from Washington State to San Diego in 1960, where it became H&M Landing's first overnight boat. It ran overnights from 1960 to 1972. Then it became the 3/4 day island boat from 72 to the present day.
Wow. Well, do you have steering in the lower and top? Because when I'm looking at this picture, just so everybody out in the radio land can know what I'm looking at, is they have the lower deck area, which is where everybody's,
Yeah, it's all in the wheelhouse.
and then up above.
All upstairs.
Yeah.
All righty,
That's really
Captain
cool.
Bill, we want to personally wish you happy Mother's Day, sir.
You are a mother.
To all our moms out there, happy Mother's Day. We love the
Amen.
show.
All righty, hey, have a great day. We'll talk to you next time.
Last night I heard this politician talking about his brand new mission. Liked his plans, but they came undone when he got around to God and gun.
And we dedicate that to Charles Schumer. Nice. All righty. You mentioned you've been out on the salt side of life.
Yeah.
Nice. Where'd you go? What boat you get on?
My brain doesn't work the way it used to. I was trying to recall what boat I was on, but I lived in San Diego and got to go on a couple,
Nice.
three-quarter overnighters. And then, I got to go with, an organization down and do some marlin fishing in Cabo. So
Sweet.
all good times. But you don't really want me on a boat because every time that I go out, we just get skunked.
Serious?
Yeah, I'm the worst guy. I tell you, every time I go,
No, we'll fix that.
every time, I'm telling you, every time I go out,
I
nothing.
will accept that challenge.
It's like when I was a kid, I used to go duck hunting with my dad all the time. Like one weekend I wouldn't go because I was little. I didn't want to get up early. And he would come back and rave about how the hunting was. And I would go the next weekend, nothing. I grew to hate duck hunting when I was a kid because every time I would just stand out there and stare at the empty skies. It's like this, I get up at 3 a.m. for nothing.
Come on, Sergeant.
No. And he would show me the pictures. It was sky black with ducks. Be like, oh, next week. So we got it next week. Next
There's
week
a
I go out
flyover.
there. It's blue. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to our world. Yeah. That's crazy stuff.
Well, you could try duck hunting in Phoenix. We don't get many.
Green Valley Park, downtown Payson.
However, cormorants we do have.
Oh, yeah.
Geese.
Yeah.
They go over to my house every year.
Still, I saw them out in, where was I? Avondale. And, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them sailing by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going like, what? It's 95 degrees outside.
We get them in Tempe all the time.
I don't know.
They're called year-rounders now.
No, I'm going to blame it on the Russians.
Why not? They're blaming them for everything else.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, Sergeant, what's your next planned outing or adventure, as it were?
My next adventure. Well, so I want to complete the 7 summits, which would be the 7 tallest mountains on the 7 different continents. So Denali would be the next challenge. Once I can knock that one off, the rest are just fun.
Piece of cake.
No, I wouldn't say piece of cake,
Yeah,
but fun. Denali is going to be brutal. It's just heavy load carries. It's a difficult mountain. So if I can wrap my head around it, get my body ready, and destroy it one more time, then I can finish the 7 summits.
Just out of curiosity, has VA checked your nervous system?
No, I can't get an appointment. So
If you can get an appointment, how can they know?
Did you actually make it to the top of Everest?
that's what they tell me, unless it was a different mountain. No, I did. I stood on the top of the world May 19th, 2016. So it's coming up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Almost a year. Yeah.
Does he go with you?
Devin the dog does not go with me. High altitude, you never know how somebody's going to react, so he couldn't tell me if he was feeling sick. So he takes a vacation. He's on a doggy vacay. He gets fat and lazy while I'm gone, and then
Little
I get
business
home.
from Lassie.
Yeah, I've got 2 daughters, and so they feed him healthily. I get home, and he's got some weight that we need to work on, and he's happy as could be. But yeah. Man, the top of the world is an amazing place, I can tell you.
Well, let's see. I'm looking at the article Eddie sent, and 2014, you lost some Sherpas?
Yeah, so like I said, I
Avalanche?
accepted the challenge in 2013, and I went in 14, and that's the year the avalanche on the south side killed 16 Sherpas.
Was that on your trip?
Yep. I was there. I
Holy
watched the whole thing, and it was the end of thin air. Everybody knows in 1996. In 2014, 16 Sherpas dying. Those are the deadliest day on Everest in history. And then I went back in 2015 and attempted to climb again, and I was there for the 7.8 earthquake that struck the country of Nepal. I was at base camp, and then
I think
I'm going to
We're
not going near him.
Let's see. No nervous system, IEDs, no ducks, no deer, no fish, earthquakes, Sherpas, avalanches.
Would you move over to that seat right there?
but I've been blown up 8 times, and I'm still kicking, so I got to be lucky somewhere.
Yeah, I don't consider being.
Let's
blown
go to
up.
IHOP.
Am I missing something here? Because you guys are talking about all this stuff, and this guy beside me, who's an amputee, went up a mountain,
Yeah,
Everest, to the top of it.
yeah.
Dude, I have a hard time walking up a flight of steps.
No kidding.
The greatest part about being an amputee is, so there's one safety rope that goes up the entire mountain, and all the climbers have to travel on it. There's like a little roadway, right? The greatest
guiding line.
Yeah. And so the greatest thing is you take your safety line and you get right up to somebody and they're going too slow. You got to pass them. You get close. You kind of have to like hug them to go around to get your safety line above them on the rope. And so you get above them. They look at you. They take a big breath and they look down. And my legs exposed the whole time. They're like, "You got to be kidding me!"
That would just piss
I'm like,
somebody
"Hey,
off.
Hey,
That's what I'm saying.
good luck."
Yeah,
Start climbing
amazing.
above them.
but
That's
he's
kinda-
tall though. How tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
Yeah, see, there it is. Leg length.
That's what we're using.
Yeah. I got these little short, stumpy things.
The greatest mountain climbers in the world are all about 5'8" and lean,
You had
strong
to go
men.
there. Yeah, I know. The Sherpas. They live there.
Well, they were born at 14,000 feet, so they got that going for them.
I want to see that first breath.
I got a Sherpa buddy. He lives in L.A. now, Yeah, he moved.
Not much business in L.A. for Sherpas. I'm sorry. What, the retirement?
Is he documented?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But we just got in a conversation.
Fit your backpack on the way home, right?
We got into a conversation. I just asked him about his life, and he says he didn't get his first pair of shoes in the Himalayas until he was 14 years old.
What the hell did he use?
Yeah, wintertime in the Himalaya, 14 years old. So first 14 years of his life, no shoes.
Rag-on?
I asked him, Gelbu, how did you get from house to house in the wintertime? He goes, I run real fast.
No wonder they can climb.
You guys, this is just terrible. Okay, we're going to get this thing tightened up. We have uncomfortable roll call again, as always, for May 14th. Excuse me. First one I want to tell you about is Senior Chief Petty Officer Kyle Milliken was killed May 5th serving during a U.S. Central Command operation. The Navy Senior Chief Special Warfare Operator, that would be a Navy SEAL, 38 years old, of Falmouth, Maine, gave it up during the operation against ISIS and al-Shabaab in a remote area of Mogadishu, Somalia. He was assigned to a U.S. East Coast base special operation warfare. J.K.?
Lieutenant Kevin Mainhart out of the Yell County Sheriff's Department in Arkansas. He was shot and killed while conducting a traffic stop of a vehicle involved in a domestic disturbance. He was responding to the call when he encountered a vehicle connected to the call. A passerby located his body after the individual shot him, and he notified other deputies. Additional units responded to the home of the original call and located 2 murder victims at the location. Subject was later located barricaded in a nearby home, and he remains at large. Lieutenant Mahan was a U.S. Air Force vet. He joined the Yell County Sheriff's Department after retiring from the West Memphis, Arkansas Police Department.
And our third law enforcement officer for today is Chief of Police Stephen DeSario, Kirkersville Police Department in Ohio. This occurred on May 12th, Friday, 2017, age 36. Was shot and killed while responding to reports of an armed subject outside of a nursing home. He arrived at the scene, was notified by dispatchers that the subject was in front of the store, and took some fire. The subject was also found deceased inside the nursing home. DeSario, the chief of police, had only served with the Kirkersville Police Department for 3 weeks. He survived by his expecting wife and 6 children. As always, gentlemen, our hearts felt sympathy, prayers, and condolences to their families, and in the case of the military guy, to their unit, and all of the brothers. It's the price of freedom this week. Give it a thought. I'm Don McDowell.
Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman, the man that fears no fish, Bass Daddy and Tournament Pro, Don McDowell.
All righty, we're back. Thanks for catching the second hour of Shake, Rattle, and Troll. If you just joined us, our voice of moderation is freaking out over here in the corner over Oscar Mayer products.
Vienna sausages and hot dogs should just go away.
Well, you know what? You chase down the ice cream, man.
You don't like the one with the cheese in them?
Oh, love them. Special guest, Sergeant Charles Linville.
He's turning green. Oh, no.
William Hinman over here on the wolf issue. And it's my pleasure to introduce our next guest. Really a cool guy, good friend, accomplished author of the book Wolf. What's to understand?
Thomas What's K. to misunderstand? Remington. Misunderstand.
What? What's to misunderstand?
Oh, he said, what's to understand?
Yeah. Hey, Tom, good morning. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I guess I misunderstood.
Oh, yeah. Hey, well, today turned into kind of a therapeutic day. We have Sergeant here that is an amputee, been to the top of Mount Everest.
Oh, wow.
William here is trying to figure out why he is here. You know.
Because you invited me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll let me know.
What's the
all
weather
good.
like there in Maine today?
Well, actually, I'm still in Florida. I haven't.
Oh, that's right. You haven't gone
way
back yet.
Up to Maine. Not yet. Another couple of weeks, I guess. I wish I was up there now, but I'm waiting on my wife to retire. So once that's behind us, we'll be out of here.
Well, I appreciate your newsletters. The last couple of versions have been really pretty interesting. You know, you've hit on some of the wolf issues, and the one I found most humorous was the bear standing on the balcony rail,
Looking in the window.
looking at the lady cooking brownies.
Yeah. Well, like I said in the little caption there, evidently the lady inside the house didn't look
Big.
Yeah, well,
Stand tall, look big, do anything, yeah.
I'm not going down that road. I'm going to stay completely away from it.
I'm sorry, pink slippers just don't look intimidating to bears.
All right,
No.
let's get to your book, The Wolf, What's to Misunderstand. Very well written, a lot of interesting facts about the wolf that most people don't know. William has joined us. He and I have had a discussion relative to the Yellowstone model and the experiment with the wolves.
Yeah.
And the National Geographic video that has received like 20 million hits on the wonderful magic that wolves have created in Yellowstone.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, this is what we're dealing with, and I don't know if I don't think any of us combined are large enough to defeat the nonsense. I'm waiting on the article. I plan to post it on my website if I can, from Dr. Val Geist. He's got a new article out about how modern day conservation is actually doing everything that it can to destroy wolves and coyotes. And because I haven't read his information on it, but just the title itself, I can agree with him, just because there's so much, well, as Jim Beers would call it, romance biology that exists in this country. You can't have a normal conversation with people about, the realities of things, because there's so much, love towards animals and hate towards humans, I guess, that it just makes it really kind of difficult.
Well, that's the key. You've said it enough times, and I read your blog daily, and I think that people have placed animals above humans at this point. That their perception of value is that these predators rank higher than humans do, and it's just not only wolves, but it's a lot of animals that they're placing on a hierarchy that's more than humans are, and I don't understand it.
Well, I'm not sure that I totally understand it, but I do, in the fact that, and I don't want to get into a subject that we shouldn't be getting into here, but I am a Bible believing man, and if that's your focus in life, then a lot of it makes more sense than we might know. But animals have their place, and I would say right off the bat that most people assume that if I've written a book that doesn't put the wolf in up on a pedestal someplace, that I hate animals and I hate wolves, which isn't the truth. If you read what I write on a regular basis, and I agree with Val Geist that we're doing everything the way it's done now to destroy the wolf, and it doesn't make any sense if your object is to protect the animal, then why are we doing everything that we can to destroy it?
How do you figure that we're trying to destroy it? I'd like to expound on that a little bit.
Well, when we don't I was just writing an article, a short one, yesterday, I think it was, about how that we as man decided, I guess one day we just decided, you know what, at this point in time in history, this is what we think things were like in our ecosystem. In other words, there were X number of wolves, there were this animal here and that animal there, and everything that's happened since then is the result of either extinction or invasive species introduction. You know, on and on it goes, and it's like, first of all, I don't understand how there can be such a thing as an invasive species unless it comes from outside of our universe. You know, it's here, it's on this planet. You know, are we playing God and second guessing, you know, where animals might end up due to the influences of everything that exists here? You know, I don't know. But, you know, there has to be, to protect a canine species, and again, people need to understand, and they don't, that a dog is a dog is a dog. And any dog, wild, domestic, whatever, given the right circumstances, is going to breed with another canine that's receptive. And it doesn't matter whether it's a wolf and a coyote and a domestic dog, or, you know, whatever the case may be. So, if you're doing everything in your power to force as many of these canine species, wolves and coyotes included, into human-settled landscapes, where, you know, what is there, something like 600 and some odd million domestic dogs in this country alone.
Yeah.
You know, you start forcing wolves and coyotes onto the landscape, and what we see in the East right now with the mixed breed of wild canine, I guess media loves to call it hybridization or hybrid dogs.
A coy-wolf.
Yeah, that's all we're going to end up with is a wild, you know, feral dog, because there will be so much crossbreeding going on because there's too many animals being protected. Now, you know, animals have their place, and those wolves that are relegated to the so-called wilderness areas of low populations of humans and stuff, they'll do just fine. And I in reading extensively all of the journals and stuff that even Teddy Roosevelt did, he really knew nothing about it at the time, but he did take notice and wrote about how that these different kinds of you know, there was the timber wolf and there was the plains wolf, and that's what he described them as. But they were separated geographically.
Yeah, there was no intermingling.
Hey,
No.
Thomas, this is William. I got a question for you.
You know?
Would you say that we are good stewards of our planet?
Oh, absolutely.
You really do think that?
Do we make mistakes? Sure we do. We're human.
Yeah,
You
but
know, what's the old saying, to err is human? Yeah, I think that, you know, the general scope of things, you talk to people, and most people want clean air, and they want clean water. Whether or not they know how to do that in the best way to do it, you know, that's always going to be a debate. But from what I gather in reading history and trying to, you know, tackle it from an objective point of view, you know, I see that that we have more wild animals in this country than perhaps we did at any time in history.
That's correct.
And I don't know that everybody would agree with me on that, but I do believe that it's true.
Do you have any
You read
other Comments, William, on wolves in the Yellowstone?
Well, basically, everything that we've tried to do as humans throughout our reign on this planet is we've done our very best to destroy our environment, whether it's water, whether it's air, whether it's the ground we live on. And when we think we can manage something, we, as a group, get together and come up with this grand plan, not realizing that God started this without us. It's been going on for 4.5 billion years on this planet. We've been here for a blink of an eye, and we've done our very best to screw it up. And wolves just happen to be one of the animals caught in the crossfire and the crosshairs of what we do.
We live in we're all subjects of man-created governments and their politics, and it's really difficult to escape that. And I think when I said that that people want clean air and clean water, I think they do. What they don't understand is the politics involved with it.
Or the agenda of other people on it as well.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Well, exactly. Sure, absolutely. And you and I are but tormenting gnats around someone's head that might, if we buzz and drive them crazy long enough, we might get swatted at, and that's about all that it amounts to. Is the ruling powers that be on this planet. Almost nobody has any understanding of what that is. We think Donald Trump is the powerful man in the world, and he's not. He's just a puppet of the powers that be, and they control everything. And in lots of ways, we live a big lie, because we're sold all this rhetoric about how that government's going to do this and government's going to do that. But when it's all said and done and you look what has happened and nothing changes, it all stays the same. And, those powers that I've often written about, they're the ones who control and decide everything. And it just so happens that the wolf issue is a convenient distraction and a tool for these the power establishment, the ruling establishment of this country and the world, and it works wonders as far as, one, keeping people angry at each other over something so silly, and the other is the destruction of property and the taking away of people's rights and all of that because of a simple animal.
Well, can I ask you a question, Thomas?
Yes, I'm blabbering on, so interrupt me anytime.
Well, in 1907, the U.S. government basically put a wanted poster out for wolves, and were eradicated from the northwest, southwest plains, and all over the United States. In 1995, they took wolves from Mexico and also from northern Canada and repopulated the wolf areas in the United States. In your opinion, was that a good idea or a bad one?
Oh, probably the worst thing that this country could have done as far as, that area of, dealing with our wildlife and our outdoors and stuff. Absolutely the worst thing. It was a criminal enterprise.
Well, that's been proven that it was criminal, and that money was that $70 million was stolen to pay for that process, and it was done surreptitiously. That's why Beers was forced into hiding, and then he was the auditor, and he was forced to resign. Yeah.
Sure.
So there's the history of what occurred for that transplant to happen,
and how it occurred.
Yeah, and how it occurred. It was a criminal enterprise, and it was done by a group of people who advocated putting wolves back in an area where they really shouldn't have. As you say, if they wanted a purity of strain, they should have left them where they were in Canada, because they don't interface with dogs. They don't interface that much with coyotes up there where they do down here. And if they wanted to remove elk from the ecosystem, they did it remarkably well by, getting rid of 18,000 elk that shouldn't have, were basically food chain for the wolves.
Well, JK, that's kind of the mission we're on right now, is exposing the left-wing progressives. They want us off the landscape. They want the government to rule by wilderness designation, so we can't go there. They don't want it hunting and fishing. Tom, we've got HSUS coming to Arizona, wanting to put a moratorium on mountain lions, ocelot, bobcats, and
lynx.
The Canadian lynx that has
That's
come to Arizona.
A joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you seeing with HSUS back on the East Coast? What kind of nonsense are they up to?
They're not coming back into Maine again, are they? Because you beat them in that last election on that boat.
On the lynx?
No, you beat them on the bear issue.
Oh yeah, For right now, it hasn't gone away, but it will come back, and it will continue to come back until these people get their way. And but it's total nonsense, and part of the problem, and it's not in Maine, it's throughout the whole nation, is there's no such thing as scientific wildlife management. All decisions are made based on the demands of the public and the social demands.
Yep.
And it's pathetic in that Maine has more bears than they know what to do with, and the amount of nuisance complaints keep rising and rising and rising.
Well, you're in the same shape in Florida with the bears on that particular topic, are you not?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Gators.
And this is the problem nationwide. It has to do with the perversion that exists in our society over, as William said, the placing the animal at a existence level equal to or greater than man, which is completely anti-Christ. It's anti-biblical. It is just against all creation and it's abomination, and God will punish this country for it. And like I said, I don't want to get onto a proselytizing thing here, but it is what it is, and I know I anger people when I say it's a perversion, but as long as you're going to protect animals like that and let them have free run, we're going to be overrun with disease. Nobody wants to talk about the diseases that these animals carry. And, I just did a thing online pointing out that the Maine government opened up a portal on their website dealing with invasive species. And they got everything on there except mammals. They got nothing about coyotes and the diseases. Coyotes an invasive species in Maine.
Absolutely.
It is in most of the country.
Yep.
What's there? And nobody wants to. You try to tell somebody that these coyotes carry, 30 or more diseases, some of which are deadly to humans, and they laugh at you. Well, my dog gets his shots. Oh yeah, what does he get? Rabies and distemper. What he do? But anyway, it's such a difficult thing that we're faced with in this country due to the brainwashing of our society on the role and existence of animals, in our life. And when we were created as the apex predator. There's no such thing that exists in wild animals as an apex predator. Man is it, and that's it. End of discussion.
Yeah, we're Erectus walk around as carnivorous with thumbs.
Yes.
that makes all the difference. Listen, are you working on any other publications?
Well, I am, but off the subject. I'm working on another book. I'm not sure when it'll be out, but it's a the first book that I wrote with my son was The Legend of Great Ghost and Other Tales from the Maine Woods.
Yes.
And, this one is kind of a 2.0. It's mostly, humorous stuff, hunting humor and that sort of thing. There's a whole section in there about, what's going to happen when you run into a bear and you follow the advice that we're given to look big. And
I just give him my
that
life.
sort of thing. It's pretty funny. But
Hey, Thomas, just out of curiosity, what is your stance personally on animals such like as in bears, mountain lions, wolves, the eradication of the bison, all this stuff that mankind has tried to go in and control, for lack of better words?
Generally speaking, the most of it is a waste of money and time and resources. Because
Tom, we got about a minute to get this thing wrapped up.
okay, one of the biggest reasons for that is man, in their vast knowledge, has decided how many of things is what we need to have, and so that's what they try to do. They have no idea in numbers, so they're trying to artificially grow numbers. They refuse to accept the fact that the extinction or extirpation of animals and locations or whatever is a very natural thing. It's automatically blamed on man, and then they do everything they can to reverse the whole thing. And, it's all of these animals have a purpose. We don't need, 150,000 grizzly bears roaming the Rocky Mountains. We don't need 300,000 mountain lions spread out all over, because somebody said, 100 years ago, those animals used to roam the area.
Yeah. Hey, Tom, we're gonna close it down, but I wanted to thank you for taking the time this morning to do it. I appreciate it. We look forward to more of your information, and hope you have a great remainder of Mother's Day.
Thanks, Tom.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Well done, JK. All right, we're going to flip into a break, come back, Rim Country Custom Fishing Rod Report on the Mother Lake. I'm Don McDowell. We'll be back.
Well, the morning's kind of damp. I'm not worried about cutting the grass. Left my truck at the boat ramp and my boat is full of gas. My old boss thinks I'm sick today. He won't have me to harass. 'Cause I'm out here on the river and he can kiss my big old bass.
Yeah, that's what I say. Brother Guggenauer in downtown Payson, how's the weather?
Hey, weather's perfect, Don. Happy Mother's Day.
And to you, sir. Absolutely.
And your bride.
Hey, great show this morning. Great show.
Appreciate the kind words. We've got Sergeant Charles over here getting ready to do some more mountain climbing.
He would make the rim. The rim to him looks like a little bump on the road.
What's happening up there, my friend?
Hey, great time in Payson. As you said, the weather up here is just spectacular. Here's a clue. We'll get to the details in a little bit. But if you like to do fishing on Roosevelt Lake, you need to get up there. And I'll get to that in a second. But I want to cover the wildlife fair that we had yesterday down at Green Valley Park.
Oh, yeah.
Great time. Arizona Game and Fish. Elk Society was there. Mule Deer was there. $700 worth of fish were stocked into Roosevelt Lake. Free fishing rods. Free day of fishing. It was just a great event with a huge turnout up there.
And hot dogs.
You know what? The McDowell Sporting Association provided for a minimal fee I wasn't allowed to say hot dog. It was a Sonoran dog.
Bacon wrapped, baby. Bacon wrapped.
I don't even know what this is, but I sold a boatload of them. They had pot roast Sammy sandwiches.
What?
I don't know, Don.
What?
See? They're improving up there. Slowly.
But anyway, it was a...
Come on, what happened to tube steak on a bun?
You got to wrap it in bacon, man. Everything's better with
Okay,
bacon.
I'm good with that.
Sonoran is green chilies, guys. Come on, get with it.
No, it's wrapped in bacon. Hot dog.
Well,
I don't know, James. I don't even know what to say. I'm
did
stunned.
have a chips of bacon in the beans, so that's the way we called it.
All right.
Anyway, it was a great event and lots of kids up there, and kudos to Game and Fish. They did a great job, and they do every year, and we're glad to be able to support them through the McDowell Sporting Association.
All right, good stuff. Let's talk about fishing.
Yeah, the fishing down there. So here's what's going on. I was talking with my buddy Clifford Perch, and he said that what he is seeing on Roosevelt Lake is that because we've had a little milder spring than usual and temperatures have not been blistering hot like we've had in past years, that our May full moon that we just passed last week has brought lots of bass shallow to spawn, more than he can remember in any recent year.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So this is just for Shake, Rattle, and Troll listeners. Nobody is fishing shallow right now. Everybody's out in deeper water. But go check those spawning flats, like behind the marina.
Oh, boy.
You'll see lots. Yeah, Don, I've seen your boat there, bro. You'll see lots of fish up there shallow still for this spawn. Might only last for a few days here because we're late in the season. But and a lot of people think the spawn's over. You know, it happens in a couple months and everything moves on. But they're in there.
Well, the good part is, you're able to target shallow fish, and then they move into a post spawn. So you've got, we'll have another 2 or 3 weeks of fun stuff.
You're exactly right. I mean, because they get really aggressive after the spawn. A lot of people don't know that fish don't feed actively during the spawn. They protect beds, ferociously, but they really don't feed. So once they come off of those beds...
Now, hang on just a minute. You spawn, you have a sandwich, take a nap. Come on. Right?
Well, there you go. I can't say it any better than that, brother.
Thank you, sir.
So, hey, the crappie fishing, the crappie spawn a little bit after the bass, so that is still going on. The water up there in the shallow ends is still where the rivers are coming in. It's still a little bit dingy, but we're still getting fair to good crappie reports. Guys aren't catching limits or anything, but they're in there and they're still spawning. So if you want to go up there and look for that, particularly on the Tonto end, if you want to go around Orange Peel area or horse pasture, that's where guys are doing most of the crappie fishing this spring for some reason.
Are they still throwing that John Deere color? Is that still being productive?
There's only 2 baits on Roosevelt for crappie, and you know this, Don. John Deere and black, blue, and chartreuse.
Yep.
That's what 99% of the people are going to be fishing with. If the water's dingy, you use the John Deere, and if the water's clear, you use the black, blue, and chartreuse.
Close enough.
Hey, and the trout fishing is just over the top. Everybody knows as we transition from the community fishing stocking program into the summer stocking program, the Game and Fish puts a lot of fish into the local streams and rim country, and they do every week for about the first month to get the numbers up, and then they transition to like every other week or something like that. But, I was out on the Verde River this week, drive out Houston Mesa Road to the first crossing, and you can pull off there and park, easy access to the water. You can walk right down. There's restrooms, there's picnic tables. And I walked up to this pool that's right there. You might be familiar with the Don, one with the big rock right there. Walked up, there's like 20 trout right there in the water just laying there waiting to be caught. So get some power bait at Walmart and grab a rod and go out there, and you can catch a limit of trout in no time.
Great news.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, so easy even JK could do it?
Thank you.
Yeah, and you know what? He could even drive his Prius because you don't even have to go off-road or anything like that.
Well, we had to make a motion at the Arizona Deer Association. As you know, he's the president, and we generally meet at Bass Pro Shops, but the last 2 meetings have been held up and went into overtime because we couldn't find the president. He was over in the Tupperware boat department.
Hey, it's always planning. You know that. It's a way to get on the water, and it's
Well,
inexpensive.
James, I think the problem is now, I think the decision has been made on the kayak, but now he's down to whether we want a powder-coated roof rack or a stainless steel or a chrome roof rack for the Prius. So I suggested powder-coated because that way you can color coordinate all three.
Yeah, gunmetal gray. It'll look good. And then a gunmetal gray kayak.
JK, it's a good thing you got a thick skin, brother.
Absolutely. It's been worn down from all the time I've taken the damn abuse.
Listen, if you're a guy and you buy a Prius, you need to be made out of calluses.
Does it have a gun rack in it, by the way?
Excuse me?
Does his Prius have a gun rack?
No, but the guns always fit in the back along with the 6x6, and I have camo seat covers, so back off!
Nice. All right, anything else to add? You want to talk a little bit about the Monster Mutter event coming up on June 3?
Yep, they're advertising it heavy, and this is a national event that's out there, and it's a fun time up in Pay. It sells out every year, so if anybody wants to go do this thing, if you're thinking about it, you need to get in touch with Payson Parks and Rec Department and get signed up. I think it's even cheaper now. Prices go up here in a couple weeks, so get a hold of Cameron up there, and he'll get you signed up. That's an over top of the event.
Oh, yeah, if you really want to abuse yourself, it's a great place to go and get muddy, dirty, stinky, everything under the
Right
sun.
up your alley, Sergeant.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
I try to stay clean these days.
Oh,
muddy, dirty, and stinky. I think in Iraq I took 2 showers in 8 months, so now I try to shower as
He
much
has
as
an
possible.
aversion to dirt. Don't go to Payson.
Good. Listen, I have been in touch with Cameron Davis, and I've suggested that since you have put a kibosh on the ATV rodeo, we're talking about doing a bass boat rodeo, and that would be Guggenauer on a tube attached to a 100-foot tow rope.
I'm not going to give you the chance to get even, Don.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
It's coming, my friend. It may take a while, but it's coming.
Good deal. And let me say a word to your anglers out there that, if you guys are lucky enough to still have your mother, you need to give her an extra hug today. We're headed out to the National Cemetery to visit my mother, but, I'm thinking of you guys. Hug your mother today. She needs it.
Good stuff, James. God love you, man. We appreciate all you do for Shake, Rattle, and Troll.
Talk to you soon.
Have a good day. All righty. James does a great job up there. The Mutter event, I'm surprised you haven't entered. I did
it 3 years in a row.
You did a great job.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was when I couldn't, my arms wouldn't hold up going through the overhangs.
Mm-hmm.
We had to walk,
Yeah.
hand walk across it, and I got into 6 feet of water. I said, no more, no.
6 feet of water, 4
Good.
feet of mud.
In the mud, going through the tubes, they had the little tunnels you had to crawl through. Nah.
It was awesome. Listen, we're going to get ready to flip into a break, but if you need more information on the Border Patrol activity, we've got it up on the website, shakerattleandtroll.com. Like us on Facebook. Check out some of the articles on the border runs that we've been making. Newsflash, Arizona Game and Fish Director Larry Voiles is slated to retire.
And the hunt is on for the new director.
That'll be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
All righty, we're going to flip into a break, come back, get this thing wrapped up. No NASCAR. Big Mike lost it.
He looks so
Wearing
cute
the
in blue.
Danica Patrick shirt for one more week.
You shouldn't put the picture of him like that on the Facebook.
Hey, you know what? We're going to do a bake sale. There's a pair of Danica Patrick pajamas in it for Big Mike. All righty, we're going to get this thing snuffed out and get on with our day. I want to wish your mom, very special lady, putting up with your crap.
Queen Anne,
happy.
happy Mother's Day to the Queen. God long live the Queen. And trust me, she
William,
is the
I
queen.
want to thank you for coming down. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Hope you can come back. And same with you, Sergeant, anytime you're in town.
Absolutely.
You're our guest.
Thank you.
We don't have anything to climb in Arizona, but you can come.
Well, there's plenty to do in Arizona outside of climbing, right?
Oh, yeah. If he's hunted 13A, he's seen the best that there is to offer for deer hunting. But, an elk hunt, there's nothing better than an elk hunt and archery in September in Arizona. I don't care where you're at. There's nothing better than Arizona.
Sounds wonderful.
We've got some stuff coming up with the AZSFWC. William, you're invited to come down and hang out with one of the meetings, the Arizona Sportsman for Wildlife Conservation.
Wait a minute. I'm the
group.
president. I'm withdrawing the invite. He's got a bad attitude.
Wow.
Really?
That's only because I was harassing him about his
I think we should.
mountain trails.
That needs to go to a board vote, quite frankly.
Well, anybody who harasses Prius owners, I'm withdrawing the invite. I'm the president. Sergeant at Arms, remove that man.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, can I just take a quick second to thank all the mothers out there that, have taken care of us when we're sick, when we don't feel good, when we just need a boost up, and they're there to, to kick us in the butt and get us moving again. Mothers, thank you very much. Happy Mother's Day, and God bless you.
Yeah, because if guys had babies, we wouldn't have this population
We'd be
issue at all. No, everybody would have one, and then word would get around, and nobody would have any.
That's why I said we'd be extinct.
It would get close,
just like the wolves.
He's a typical president. Anytime you try to put him in a corner, he bobs, weaves, pivots, and what's on the agenda? Are we going to have something to say about the Trump executive order on review of national monuments in the state?
We saw the list that was provided by Mr. Unmike. We have approximately 4. They're
that
going
would be
back to
Herr Ed.
Herr Ed. No, we've got 4 monuments, and they're going back to 1996 because the size and the number of monument designations that presidents since that time frame have become involved with. It was designed to protect specific, smallest geographic areas of historical significance. No, the smallest amount of land necessary to protect it. And then, so what's happened is Bears Ears is 1.8 million acres that they're protecting. And it brings us to the second side of the equation, which is Native American tribes, they have their land. They are sovereign nations. My biggest issue now is that Native American tribes are making strong comments and receiving a whole lot of political influence from people like Representative Raul Grijalva.
You're really
Senator
bringing this up?
Yeah.
Right.
Because, wait a minute. I can't tell any Native American how to run anything on their tribal lands. That's sovereign nation, and I understand and I respect that. Why are they having all this input on all these potential monument designations? It's not their land.
Exactly. So, what's your pragmatic view of the obvious dealing with the 75-mile contiguous open border on the Tano Odom on the U.S.-Mexican border? And on that note, doing some research and talking to
BP?
No, actually the Mexican consulate. Mexico, Odom's claim they have X amount of square miles in Mexico.
They are the
Mexican
only
government. Excuse me, Mexican government does not recognize that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So as far as their
that's the pissing contest between Mexico and the Tohono.
It's a pissing contest with the sovereign nation within a nation, keeping us at risk.
It's cartel central.
With the cartel and trafficking issue.
But it's never going to stop because they want to keep everybody, focused on something else, and they, our government can do whatever they want.
It's going to stop.
Oh yeah, BP is making sure it's going to happen. If you can curtail all activity, and right now they're going to have the ability to do drone surveys all across that area of land where there is issues with drug cartels coming through, and it's just a matter of time and manpower. And BP has got 4,000 more people going out there. Mm-hmm. Sooner or later, they're going to start stopping everything that comes across the border.
I wish we were able to talk about all the new stuff that we're seeing down there.
We don't go there yet.
No, not yet. But anyway, you can check that out on the website. Sign up for the newsletter at shakerattleandtroll.com. Doug does a great job on that. There's a lot of information on the Facebook, either to Don McDowell or Shake, Rattle, and Troll. So give us a look, like us if you would. Sergeant, I appreciate you coming down. I've heard a lot of stuff about you from Eddie Corona. Not that we believe Eddie all the time, but in this case, he was right. Speaks very highly of you. Certainly a cool individual, and I can't thank you enough, and for what you've been through. So,
I hope you have more fun than any man's entitled to. You deserve it.
We need to hook him up with Seth and get him on a motorcycle.
Appreciate having me down here today.
It's for you, as much as you do, and like you said, you have to work out 8 hours a day just to be ready to do these hikes, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it was just to see what my body could do with this prosthetic limb I've got strapped to myself for the rest of my life, and to be able to go through the rigors of training and doing so, being a disabled. And I'm saying that in quotation because I hate that word.
You're not.
Disabled. Everybody's disabled. It's just what's between your ears.
Yeah. I'm much more. He's much more disabled than anybody at this table.
Stop.
Start pointing fingers, but yeah, I mean, to be able to be successful and do things that able-bodied people haven't been able to do is just amazing.
Now, do you have a special leg for that?
Yeah,
climbing?
I took 4 legs up there. I actually broke one at about 28,000 feet and had to put a new one on. So most people break their leg up there. They're in trouble. They're probably not making it home alive. And I just switched tires and kept moving.
What's the composition? Are you into titanium or some space age metal?
It's mostly carbon fiber, and then the pylon and everything that attaches to is titanium, and then a carbon fiber socket. So it was just a myriad of different metals that are put it together, and then hoping that it stays together under minus 80-degree temperatures.
Nothing is supposed to stay together at minus 80 degrees. Just telling you.
We're not supposed to be in that area.
No.
Hey, Sergeant, I just want to thank you and all the servicemen and women from around the world that, keep our country free. We have the ability to do what we want, when we want, and how we want within, common factors. And it's just, we really appreciate what you and all your comrades in arms do for us, because without it, we wouldn't be here.
Absolutely. Appreciate all the servicemen and women out there.
Good copy on that. While we're giving out high signs, the guys down on the border, including our game and fish department, deserve a little special recognition doing what we spent a number of, so we've had 3 trips down there now, and doing what they do, expecting to get a bullet in the windshield any moment, around the next curve, top of the next hill, or bottom of the next wash is.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing nighttime surveys.
Yeah, it's a little dicey down there. We're the only state in the union that has to have the deer biologist
be
heavily armed guards in southern Arizona. But yeah, my point is they're getting it pretty well cleaned up, doing a hell of a job down there. So,
and all of our border control agents.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, these guys, a lot of them are former military. And let's just say they've got their stuff packed pretty damn tight down there, and it's pretty amazing. It really was an eye opener to get with these guys. Like yourself. They've, like I say, there's a lot of vets down there on the border, and it's just another situation.
Well, look at the new
24-hour, huh?
Look at the new vest you just bought to go down there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, our border control agents, our fish and game, and even you now, Don, you have to be in full, a full flag vest.
Well, we're taking precautions,
right?
Let's just say.
And you got, you showed me that vehicle that was on the picture of the 4x4 that had screens on the side and screens on the windshield because of being bombarded by rocks as you're driving down, down the border.
It's
the
crazy.
Border road. It's insane.
Welcome to Arizona. Well. I don't want to get into the political side of this, but, Trump's done an awful lot of stuff. By the way, they just completed 7.5 mile stretch down at Naco, redoing the fence. That was another press
But that was planned 4 years ago.
It was, and now they're putting in some stuff I can't talk about. So back to you, Sergeant.
Dump on you.
No, definitely shout out to BP for service to the country, and it's not always heralded as what it is, and so they do a great job every single day. So we got a huge shout out and thank you to them.
I was most impressed with the way that they handle people that they apprehend, because they really do a good job of
really.
They treat people very humanely.
Mm-hmm. Treat them like people.
Yeah, they don't. It's not roughhousing them. It's not throwing them on the ground and treating them like crap. They're very supportive. They understand some of these people are forced into doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And in terms of, illegal immigration has dropped dramatically. And, it's a matter of the economics. When Mexico builds up their industry to the point where people will have jobs that pay decent salaries, they'll be there instead of here, or they'll be here for other reasons. The biggest issue that Border Patrol is facing right now is the drug running, and it's becoming more and more. Yeah, rip crews, but it's crystal meth and it's the heroin that are coming across.
Yeah,
the board.
one thing I do want to point out to all those sports guys: careful where you park your truck. Sporting goods stores, Costco, even some Walmarts have been targeted for our vehicles. Except for you, don't need to worry about this. But if you have an enhanced four-wheel drive, make sure you lock it up. Pay attention.
I mean, they wouldn't steal a Prius?
They might.
If it had a lift kit, it'd be subject.
They just don't know how many bodies.
Anyway, listen, we got to get this thing wrapped up. Happy Mother's Day. Call your mom. I'm Don McDowell.
Special K.
Charlie Linville.
And William. And thank you to all out there. Be safe on this day and enjoy. God bless.
That's it. Take your kids fishing, hug your bass boat. We're out of here, man.